Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is going to be a pretty short video, at least that's what I intend on making it. So I inspected the colonies this past Monday, a few days ago. So I'm out here in the bee yard after thinking about it for the last few days, ever since inspecting them and looking into the top deeps on hives 2, 3, and 4 down there that are acting as a honey super. Decided that the bees just aren't really making as much progress as I wanted them to with that top super, meaning they've stored quite a bit of nectar, but they haven't cured it to honey yet. And there's a few factors I think that have led into basically the lack of progress this year, is mainly because I've had quite a few swarms out of all of these colonies, and it took them longer than expected to become queen right. So a break in the brood, not enough bees, lower bee population. They're still trying to build back up into a good population. So it's mid-May. I anticipate on pulling the supers in about 6 weeks, so the end of June. So they have 6 weeks to really get it together. But as you know, or may know, having all that extra space doesn't necessarily help sometimes. So I'm just going to remove the top deep on hives, again, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to leave them out on top of the hives, let all the colonies rob them out, and then the second order effect that'll do for me, once they rob them out, because they have 9 frames of drawn comb, some of the actual deep brood chambers, I can't remember which one, but some of them have quite a few frames, well, brand new frames. So by switching the brand new, not frames, but foundations, you know what I mean, by switching those frames out with some of the established frames in the honey supers I'm about to pull and let the bees rob out, that should instantly give those queens plenty of room to start laying more eggs, instead of having the bees wasting resources, meaning to find nectar, draw wax, so on and so forth. So I'm going to get the camera set up and then just simply remove the top deep off of hive number 2 here, and then basically just repeat the process for the remaining hives. So that should be good. As you can see, I don't have any smoke, so we'll see how that goes. Should be relatively simple. Yeah, there's just, here, I'll show you real quick so you can see why I'm really doing this. So there's some new frames here. These are nice drawn frames and everything, but as you can see, there's just not a lot of bees in that top box. And this is hive number 2. So as easy as doing this right here. It has some weight to it too, which is good and bad, I guess. Alright, so it's had the top super, well, the regular traditional medium super, I guess, back on. I'll just place this like so, and then it's, well, that might not really work. Let me place it up and down the other way. There we go. All right, one done. I mean, yeah, they were starting to draw out the wax nice and fat because I'm running it as a 9 frame, but just not as much as I would like. All right, let's repeat the process over at hive 3. Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. I thought reducing them, well, one thing doesn't necessarily have something to do with the other. I was going to say I thought reducing them down to a single brood chamber and then giving all the bees the space of the top super, or the top deep really, they'd start drawing out some more comb. Let's see, let me pull a frame out of the middle here. I was just out here, I'm pretty sure I did this, but yeah, there's a ton of nectar in there, but they're just really not drawing it out as much as I would like. Yeah, hopefully, maybe you can see that, maybe you can't, but I mean, they're capping some of it. It's not as much as you would really like to see. Yeah, it's a lot of nectar there. I don't know. It's a tough one. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. Alright, let's do some camera moving. Not to mention the honey extractor I have, it definitely works better with mediums and shallows, not so much deep. So those two frames didn't look terrible, but the first two frames have absolutely nothing on them. This is frame 3, which, I mean, it's full of nectar, that's for sure. They're just not capping it. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with my decision here. I'm gonna let them rob it out. And this is my thought process. I'm gonna let them rob out the deeps. Again, these first two frames on this one are new. This last one's new, so I had a 9. They really only have 6 good frames, because I know some of the deep brood chambers, especially in hive number 5, the swarm I moved over from my buddy's place, they probably have 5 good frames. They definitely have 3 new frames off memory, so they could use a boost. And the same thing applies for the other hives as well. Even hive number 1, that is a single deep with a medium super on. That deep probably has a few frames that could use a boost. But yeah, they're just not capping it as much. And my thoughts are, you know, the bees will rob it out from all colonies, not just the one it came from. And because they're single deeps, brood chambers, and they have honey supers on top, mediums, and some shallows, hopefully they don't waste the space and move the nectar down into the brood chamber. Hopefully they move it directly into the honey super, since they have the space to store nectar. Alright, let's do the same thing over here at hive 4. And I'll show you as well. Same thing. I mean, a few bees up in the top here, but that's a new frame. The rest of the frames are actually drawn out, but there's just not many bees in there. So again, it's unfortunate it came to this, but this season has not been good at all to me, mainly due to quite a few swarms. I think each hive swarmed. Each hive, maybe all except one. And then the hives that swarmed, it took them a while to get queen right. I mean, it takes about a month. It's about a month process, and then by the time that new queen has made it and has started laying brood, as you know, it takes about 6 weeks before that brood hatches. And then given this time of year, those field bees only live for about 6 weeks, but they spend about half that time in the hive. So it takes a good while before you have bees out foraging for food. A good while being about 6 to 8 weeks, I guess. Alright, like I said, pretty short video, about 10 minutes or so. I will come out here this afternoon and just do a quick follow-up to see how well the bees are robbing out the boxes I just removed before I publish the final video. So there you go. I believe today is the 14th. It's Thursday, May 14th. But yeah, I think they just had too much space to work. So now hopefully by reducing the colonies down to all single deeps, mainly the ones that I was trying to harvest honey from this year, hopefully by reducing them to single deeps, that should help them out. Because even if they don't have a large bee population, at least by not having as much room to have to work, and a deep is a lot of room, maybe they'll make better use of the medium and shallow supers I have on, and I can still get a pretty nice honey harvest this year. Alright, that's it for now. It's like just after noon or so. I'll follow up later on today, like I said, and then publish the video sometime later in the week. Alright, thanks for watching for now. I'll finish this afternoon and show y'all how well the bees are robbing out the supers. Alright, welcome back into the bee yard. It's been about 24 hours since I removed the deeps that were acting as supers on hives 2, 3, and 4. And like I said in the earlier part of the video, just wanted to come out here 24 hours later, more so out of curiosity, just to see how much progress the bees have made with robbing out the supers. So it looks like they're doing a pretty good job. That frame, first time noticing the amount of queen cells they actually, or queen cups they developed on it, but again, it was acting as a super, so there's no chance the bees could make a true queen cell out of it. Yeah, it looks like they got some work to do.